Explain any 3 circumstances under which a bank may dishonor a check. 6 marks. Now we need to know what is a dishonored check. We need to first understand what a dishonored check is. Then, after knowing what a dishonored check is, we can look at the different reasons as to why a check is dishonored. So, dishonored checks or a dishonored check. Let us just look at a dishonored check. Dishonored check. Now, what is a dishonored check? In the banking sector or in the banking business, a dishonored check is a check that has not gone through the drawer's bank account. That has not gone through the drawer's bank account. Alternatively, I can define this check as a check which the writers, that is the drawers, that the writers bank has refused to make payment upon. That is a dishonored check. However, the question simply asks you to give the circumstances under which a bank may dishonor a check. The circumstances under which a bank may dishonor a check. Let us try to look at those circumstances. Reasons for dishonoring a check. Reasons for dishonoring a check. Let us try to look at some of these reasons. They asked for 3 different reasons. Reasons for dishonoring a check. Number 1, insufficient funds. Insufficient funds on the drawer's account. Insufficient funds on the drawer's account. Okay. Now suppose on the account there is a balance of only 2 million and yet the check made out is of 2.5 million. There is no any overdraft available. Of course, the check will be dishonored by the bank simply because of the insufficient funds. Then number 2, we have what we call stale checks. A stale check. In case of stale check, i.e. checks are considered stale 6 months after the date on the check. After the date on the check. In other words, the check is expired. So therefore, banks will not honor checks over 6 months old. Okay, that's one of the other reasons. Then amounts in figures. Deferring. Differing from amounts in words. For example, I have 5 million, i.e. 5 million on the check, written as $5 billion in words. The bank will not honor this check. So he asked for 3 different reasons explained, but of course there may be some other reasons as to why the bank may dishonor a check. For example, things like reasons like when the payee's identity is doubted, the drawer's signature on the check differs from the specimen signature held by the bank, and many others, and many other circumstances. The following information relates to the transactions of Alfredo Steel Limited for the month of November and December 2014. A bank reconciliation for November 2014 was not prepared because the bookkeeper had gone on leave. The following items appear on the bank statement for November 2014, but were not captured in the cash book for the same month. So we have direct debits, loan installment, bank charges. Then we have direct credits, the interest of 200. Now we have different terms. You see, they are talking about direct debits. Now a direct debit or direct debits, these are payments made by the bank on behalf of the customer. So the authority to withdraw money from the account is given to the payee. Okay, so those are direct debits, and they include items like bank charges, the loan installment, interests on overdrafts, and many others. Then when it comes to the direct credits, these are amounts paid into an account directly through the banking system instead of issuing a check. So we have the debits and the direct credits in this scenario. The cash book bank column for Alfredo Steel Limited for the month of December 2014 was as follows. So you have those details there. That's the bank column of the cash book. So we have that. Then you also have the bank statement obtained by the company as at 31st December 2014 was as follows. So that is your bank statement. Then with some additional information, check number that, and that we are dishonored by the bank. The bank made an error on check number that. Any other errors, if found, should be deemed to have been committed by the accounts internally at Alfredo Steel Limited. Required to prepare for Alfredo Steel for the month of December 2014 an adjusted cash book and then a bank reconciliation statement. So those are the requirements of the question. Now, what are the procedures used to prepare a bank reconciliation statement? The first thing, you have to balance the cash book. Remember, only the cash and the bank columns are balanced. So assuming you already have your balance in the cash book, you will compare the bank columns of the cash book with the bank statement. For example, in this case, we have our bank statement here. So I'll compare this balance with the balance in the cash book. In the cash book, our balance is 10,212,000. That is the balance carried forward. But when we look at the bank statement, it has something different. It has 17,178,000. So you see, the balances are not the same. The balances are not the same. So what do we have to do? We have to tick all the entries shown in the cash book and their corresponding entries in the bank statement. I think we can start with that. Let us tick all the entries in the cash book with their corresponding entries in the bank statement. So this is my cash book. We have check number 22305. So I have to check in the bank statement and I see if we have that check. So we are trying to tick 22305. It's there. So this is 10,000, and even on my bank statement I have that 10,000 as a credit. I think that's okay. Then I'll go back to the cash book 11985. This is a dishonored check. This is dishonored. It's a dishonored check. It's a dishonored check. We have 33791. 33791. We have it. 33791. It's on the debit of the cash book, but you see on the bank statement it's nowhere to be seen. So we call this uncredited check. Uncredited. That is uncredited. Then you have 12363. 12363. Let's try to look at the bank statement and we'll see if it's there. 12363. Not dishonored, and still it's not the bank statement. We still call this uncredited. That is also uncredited. Then check number 44571. 44571. It's on the debit of the cash book, but still it is also on the debit of the bank statement. So here the bank is right. I think the error was made in the cash book. Yeah, the error was made in the cash book. So this is a cash book error. There is an error. It's a cash book error. Then 45621. Let's check on this. 45621. Okay, this is okay. 45621. Of course, it appears on our bank statement. Then let's try to see 76423. 76423. Do we have it in the bank statement? Let's try to check. 76423. It's there. So I'll take this. So we are trying to reconcile. This is the exercise. That's how it's done. 764. That's okay. 1650. Then 001605. 320. 3 to 10, both on debits. I think this is okay. This is okay. So we have another cash book error that was made. because we have seen that the bank only made an error on check 001604. So this is another cash book error. That's another cash book error. Then I'll look at the credit now. We have 001602. The amounts are okay. So I'll tick that. And I'll also go and tick this. Six zero three. 603 dishonored. Yeah, this is a dishonored check. Dishonored check. So it will be cancelled out. We have to eliminate that from our cash book. Then 604. 604. The bank made an error on 604. So meaning that in the cash book, the 604 is okay. But on the bank statement, I'll put bank error. Bank error. So there is an issue on that. Then 610, 7200, do we have it? 610, 7200. It's not there on the bank statement. It's not there on the bank statement. So this check, this is known as unpresented. That's unpresented check because it's not debited on the bank statement, so it becomes unpresented check. Then 743 is there. 743, that is 6750. But unfortunately, it appears on the credit. This is 6750. I think this is a cash book error. This is a cash book error. Yeah. This is a cash book error. Cash book error because in the bank we see it's there, but on the credit. So meaning that here the bank was correct, but the error was made in the cash book. Then 607, this is okay. 607, 607, this is okay. Then 609, need to check and see. 609, 609, 609 does not also appear on the bank statement as a debit, so this is unpresented. Then 6K11 credit to 300. Yeah, it's a credit 3200. I think this is a cash book error. It's a cash book error. It's a cash book error. The 6K11, this. It's a cash book error. So errors made in the cash book, you correct them in your adjusted cash book. Errors made by the bank, we have to show the adjustment in the bank reconciliation statement. So what do we have to do now after ticking these entries shown in the cash book and those in the bank statement? The next thing to do now is to bring the cash book up to date. We have to bring the cash book up to date. And how do we do that? We have to enter the payments made by the bank but not yet entered in the cash book in the bank column on the credit side in the cash book. Things like standing orders, direct debits, bank charges, fees, interest, dishonored checks. We have to enter those payments made by the bank in the cash book. Then entering amounts received by the bank but not entered in the cash book in the bank column on the debit side of the cash book. We also have to do that. So let's try to come up with our adjusted cash book. In the adjusted cash book, you start with the balance as per the cash book given. So the balance brought down, we have 10,212. This is the balance given in the cash book. So we are taking this, please. This is our balance we take in the updated cash book as a debit balance. Then after that, I'll enter the receipts that were entered in the bank statement. Receipts that were captured by the bank, but of course they are not entered in the cash book. For example, we have the direct credits. One of them is the interest. So I'll bring the interest as a debit. That is 200. Then the direct debits, loan installment, bank charges, I'll credit them very fast. The bank charges, those are the details of the previous month bank charges. That is 456. Then you also have the loan installment. The loan installment is how much? Loan installment is 1,200. 1,200. That is your loan installment. There are some other credits, but we are not captured on the bank statement. For example, we have dividends. We have dividends. The dividends are how much? The dividends we have 4,000 credit, but not on the banks on the cash book bank column. So come and show that. Dividends. That is how much for the dividends? That is 4,000. So we have 4,000 dividends. Anything else? So now this is done. I've entered that. Then I'm seeing check number 5600 to 300. Check number 5600. Check number 34283 with a 5600, and then that of 2300. Check number 6011. What do we say about this? Anything about 2300? Okay, I'm seeing that up. There is a cash book error. But let us look at let us first look at what? Let us first look at this this 34283. 34283. It's not in the cash book. It's not in the cash book. These are direct credits. direct credit. So I'll go and 283. We have it in the cash book, 283. No, it's not there. So go and debit it in your cash book. Debit your cash book. That is check number. Check number 348283. That is 5600. That is 5600. Then some checks were dishonored. For example, check number 11985 was dishonored, so it was debited in the bank column of the cash book. So I'll credit it. Dishonored check. That is check number what? That is check number 11985. It was dishonored, so we cancel it out by crediting our cash book. That is 458. But of course there was also another check that was dishonored. There is also a check that was dishonored. There is a check that was dishonored. That is check number what? Let's try to check. The check dishonored to appear on the debit side of the cash book. That is check number what? Check number 001603. Check number 0011603. The amount that is 3470. Yeah, that is 3470, as you can see. That check number was dishonored. That check was dishonored. Then what else? What else do we have? Let's try to look at the direct debits. If there is any other, we have a standing order of 20. This you can go and credit your cash book. Adjusted standing order. That is a standing order of shillings 20,000. So you enter that standing order. I have ledger fees also here. Ledger fees. These are payments that's not yet captured on the cash book. Ledger fees. Under the ledger fees, that's how much the ledger fees. That is 470. Ledger fees 470. Then what else do we have? What else? We have a loan repayment also. It's a loan repayment. You can also credit your cash book with this. Loan repayments. The loan repayment is of 1,200. 1,200. Then what else do we have? What else? I think now we need to look at the cash book errors. We correct them. The cash book errors. One of the cash book errors, that is the error on check number 44571. We have the error on check number 44571. Now we try to look at this error. This check was supposed to appear on the credit, I think, because on the bank statement 4457, it is a debit on the bank statement, but even in the cash book we are debiting. So what you have to do, you have to transfer this check to the credit of the cash book, to the credit of the cash book. So let us take it to the credit of the cash book. That is check number 44571. Check number 44571. Now when it comes to this check, of course they had debited the cash book with 3750, but the correct amount was supposed to be 7,350. So what you do, you have to credit the cash book with the sum of these two. The debit on the bank statement, that is 7,350, then plus the debit of 3,750. You credit the cash book with 11.1. Okay, so cash book will be credited with 11.1 because the amount on the debit has to be cancelled out, so you just overstate the amount on the credit side. So you have to add the true amount, which is 7,350, then plus the 3,750. So the 3,750 credited will cancel out the debit entry that was originally made in error. So this is now also done. It's corrected now. Now the other cash book error, is on check 001605. We also need to look at that. And we see that is check 001605. We need to look at the bank statement. This is a debit here, so I'll need to look at the bank statement and see 605. Yeah, it was supposed to be credited in the cash book, but they are debiting. So this is 3 to 10 plus. So you have to add the two, same treatment as the first one. In other words, you double the amount, then you credit your adjusted cash book with a double amount, which is 6,420. This is check number 001605. We are crediting this with 6,420. With a 6,420. So I think that's it all. The debit side. Let us try to look at now the errors on the credit side of the cash book. We have 743. We have an error on 743. Here the cash book is credited with 6,750. Let us try to look at the bank statement. This is check 3428. And I think I have this already. I'm looking at, okay, it's 743 is here. Yes, this is the bank is correct, but in the cash book they had credited the cash book with 6,750. So I think there is an understatement of how much 6,750 minus how much. I think it's the same amount. Oh, this is a credit. This is a credit. As per the bank statement, it's a credit. So the cash book, it was supposed to be debited, right? So here you just double the amount. You double the amount. You have to double the amount. Then you debit your cash book with a double amount. This is check number 089743. The amount is 13,500. I'm doubling the amount. Why am I doubling? Because the amount was supposed to be debited, but they are crediting, so I'll double the amount such that half of this cancels out the amount that was credited in error. Then the other, so this is also done. The other error is on 6011. 6011, that's the other error which we have. This is 3200. Let's look at the bank statement and see what happened. 6011. Yeah, on the bank statement it's a credit. Therefore, in the cash book it would have been a debit, but they still credited. So meaning that I'll have to add these two amounts, because in the cash book they are crediting with 3200. So you add the two, then you debit them in the cash book. That is check number 001611. We are debiting our cash book with 5,500. So I think that's it all. This is okay, we are done with that. Commission, we have already entered this in our adjusted cash book. It's there. But that commission, we have not yet entered the commission. We have not yet entered the commission. I don't see it. If I check the commission of 900, do we have it? Oh, okay, it's there in the cash book. So now what you have to do now is to balance up your updated cash book. Then you get the balance, which will be taken to the statement of financial position. And of course, when you try to look at the debit side looks to be bigger than the credit. So our balance carried down will be on the credit side. So what I'm going to do now is to sum up the amounts on the debit, and according to my computer here, we are getting 42482. That should be the same here, but of course I have to insert a balancing figure. Don't forget, we are trying to balance our cash book. We have to insert a balancing figure. Let me first try to add what we have on the credit. This is what I have on the credit. So my balancing figure here will equal to this minus that and we get 21158. So also work it out that side, but that's what I have here. That's what we have. Yeah, so that is my balance as per the adjusted cash book. That's what we have. Now the next thing is to come up with the bank reconciliation statement. That's the next thing to look at. So we have corrected any errors discovered in the bank columns of the cash book, and of course we have seen that the bank statement also contains an error, so we have to inform the bank about that error that was made. That is error on 20th, check number 001604. That is an error that was made by the bank, so we have to inform the bank. So we have to make a note of the error and ask the bank for an adjusted bank balance. So we have now to prepare the bank reconciliation statement, and in the bank reconciliation statement we start with our balance as per the adjusted cash book. So balance as per the adjusted cash book. So that is the balance we need here. So we have to add the unpresented checks. We have to add the unpresented checks, and we had summarized some of the checks that appeared unpresented. We had summarized some of them, so it's just a matter of transferring those checks, then we add them to our balance as per the activity cash book. That is this and this. So you take them to your bank reconciliation statement. That is check number 006. Check number 001610. That's how much? That is 7200. 7200. Then you also have check number. You also have check number 001609. That's at 1400. 1400. Those are the checks that we have as the unpresented checks. When you sum them up, you get 8,600. That's what we get. Of course, we have to less the uncredited checks. So less the uncredited checks. We still have these checks. We have already identified them somewhere in our question. That is this and that. So you just bring them straight to your bank reconciliation statement. There are two checks already identified as uncredited. That is check number 33791, and the amount is 400. That's what we have. Yeah, 400. Then you also have 12363. This is 12363. The amount is 8,000. So that's what we have. The other thing we can look at, there is a bank error that was made. We need to look at this bank error and we see its impact on the bank statement balance. This is on check number 001604. Debit 1420. So meaning that in the cash book, let's try to look at the cash book 604. It's a credit in the cash book. It's a credit in the cash book. It's a credit in the cash book. So in the bank, it was supposed to be debited. In the bank, it was supposed to be debited, but we see the bank debited. The bank debited, which is true. They had to debit, but they're debiting with the wrong figure. The figure was supposed to be 1 to 40. So the bank debited. The bank debited. In fact, they are overstating the debits. They are overstating the debits. So what you have to do, this should appear as a subtraction. Okay, this should appear as a subtraction. So I'll present it as part of the uncredited amount. Say, so I'll say bank error. It's a bit tricky. This is check number what? This is check number 001604. And I've told you I'm getting the difference. That is 1420 minus 1240. So we have a difference of 180. Yeah. So we have to reduce. We have to show a reduction on the amounts that were debited, so it will appear as a reduction, or it will be part of the amounts to be deducted when it comes to doing the bank reconciliation statement. So the sum of all this, so when it comes to errors made by the bank, you need to know the impact of those errors on the bank statement balance. So now what we can do, no. This should be this plus the unpresented checks, then minus the uncredited checks. this gives you 17,178,000. I don't know what the balance is as per the bank statement. Our balance as per the bank statement should be 17,178,000. You can check the question just to confirm. Yeah, that's it. This is the balance. 17,178,178,000. That is our balance. So that is the question. We have seen the reasons for dishonoring a check, and then what is a dishonored check. Then we have also seen how to do the reconciliation, that we have to tick all the entries on the bank statement with the corresponding entries shown in the cash book. We identify the direct debits, the direct credits, and so on. So we have to master the technique, the procedures of doing this reconciliation. Thank you for watching. I remain your tutor, Senior Hamilton. Bye bye.